Mr. Bob Hawke promised a new style of government for Australia, and his personal style seems to include holding hands with his wife on ceremonial occasions, like greeting the Prince and Princess. As the ritual welcome by the Governor-General unfolded, both couples must have been thinking of Mr. Hawke's published desire for Australia to become a republic. But clearly this was not a time to bring up the subject, and no one did. Ceremonial was what this blustery morning was about. But after the Guard of Honour had been inspected, there was another example of private affection in a public place, this time an exchange of looks between Prince and Princess across a crowded tarmac. The first stop was at Canberra's Civic Centre, which bears an uncanny resemblance to Croydon. After the days in the outback, the crowds seemed enormous, and the walkabout was busy with morning shoppers and Canberra's civil servants. The Prince won a rose and was applauded for promptly converting it into a buttonhole. There was a lone voice of protest.
How much did this trip cost?
Guided by the Prince, the Princess crossed over, but didn't answer the question, not being an accountant. Instead, she chatted to housewives who were able to observe that her outback sunburn has faded now that she's in the cooler climate of the east. Small hands reached out to hug her by the waist. Then it was time for lunch at the Prime Minister's official residence, which is called the Lodge, a pretty house and a setting for the statutory photo call, with Mr. Hawke's wife Hazel coming reluctantly from the front door, perhaps because she was worried about the veal escallops. But finally they all got in the right place. Mr. Hawke, very much in charge, told a joke. Republicanism seemed some way off. Anthony Carthew, News at 1 in Canberra.